Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Business Talk Library. And today I have another great guest on because, as you guys know, I'm located here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So it's always great to highlight the awesome business owners and entrepreneurs in Charlotte. So today we have a business that I think you probably wouldn't think to combine, the RX or the health sector or the pharmacy is where you usually see the words RX, but you usually wouldn't think to combine that with fabric. So I am excited to have Jonathan on to talk about his business, Nurfabrx RX. So welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, before we jump into your business, Nurfabrx RX, can you tell us a little bit about what was your background before starting this business?
Yeah, so I have always just had a true passion for entrepreneurship and building and growing things. I remember from an early age trying to sell all my parents' possessions at a garage sale. Um, Took an early trip overseas and was inspired by very cheap electronics and MP3 players, and was able to bring those back and sell them on eBay and make a couple bucks. And so really just wanted to start and build something. And then that's really what led to the foundation for this business and just having a problem in my personal life and trying to figure out how to solve it.
Gotcha, gotcha. And you know what? I got to make an apology because I several interviews today mix up the name. Your name is not Jonathan; it is Jordan. So
Close enough.
I apologize about that. So for the listeners, his name is not Jonathan; his name is Jordan. So if you're looking for the CEO and founder of Nurfabrx RX, don't look for Jonathan; look for Jordan.
It's all good.
Awesome. So, I mean, I guess with that, that entrepreneurial spirit, I mean, it's very interesting when I hear the story about a lot of people who had that entrepreneurial spirit early on, but when they, just started, matriculating through school or they went to college and it's just like for some reason they started leaning more towards getting a corporate job. Like, was that your path or were you able to kind of stick with the entrepreneurial mindset?
Yeah, I remember from I think it was early in college. I was talking to one of my parents' friends that worked in corporate life, and I was like, "How do you know what to do with your life? How did you get your job? How did you sort of get to your high level position at your company?" It's like you just got to start at the bottom. You got to work your way up. You got to start serving people coffee. And I was like, "No way do I want to do that, right? Like, there's got to be a better way than like having to waste 30 years of my life." Um, Working my way up to the top and like not doing something that I really like. And that got me thinking, what do I really like doing? And I like building, I like creating, I like solving problems. And so I was fortunate that in college I was able to start this business based on a problem I had in my personal life. So I've had a unique perspective where I've never worked a corporate job. I've never worked another job. I joke that if I wasn't an entrepreneur, I would be totally unemployed. But I think it's just a true personality trait that a lot of entrepreneurs share. Is just they like building and they like creating.
Awesome. And I think that that's something that becomes very interesting about, when I talk to so many different entrepreneurs, founders, and some people who started off in corporate and switched over to, running their own business. I think sometimes people, I guess they romanticize the entrepreneurial journey. I mean, being a person who, like said, it's been what you've been focused on, and you were fortunate, like I said, to start a business early on. Like, what has it been a romantic honeymoon the entire time?
No, no. I mean, I think the truism here is that if you were getting paid by the hour as an entrepreneur, you'd be making less than minimum wage, right? Like you're working weekends, you're working late nights, but you do it because you love it and it doesn't feel like work. I wake up and I'm excited to go to work Monday morning and check my email and see what's going on. Um, but if you wanted to get a high paying job, make a bunch of money and retire, like you're probably better off taking a corporate job, right? You work your set hours. I mean, for me, it's fun, but it never shuts off. So it's weekends, it's holidays. I mean, over Thanksgiving, right? Like, still emails to be sent. There's still stuff that can be improved upon and made better. So that's part of the fun, but that's also a challenge and takes a specific personality type, I think, to really believe in what you want to do, and that's what makes it fun and not feel like work.
Awesome, awesome. So, I mean, let's talk a little bit about, Nurfabrx RX. What was was it just an idea moment? I mean, you talked about, it was a result of, some personal things that you were working through? Like what really sparked it that, hey, this was the one, the invest my time and energy into to make this into a business?
Yeah, so it started for me in college, where I suffered from bad skin, and I went to the dermatologist and learned about the link between your pillowcase and bad skin. And so, as you sleep, dirt and oil builds up on your pillowcase, clogging your pores. And so, went to the dermatologist, and what he recommended was that I wash my pillowcase 2 to 3 times per week. And at the time, as a college age male, that was never going to happen. It's still, frankly, never going to happen 9 years later. But that's what got me thinking about how do you get a benefit from a garment or fabric, something that contacts your skin all day, every day. And so why can't you use that as a platform for delivery active ingredients? And so that was the foundation for Nurfabrx and this company that we've created, which allows us to simplify health and wellness. And so our core technology is this idea of delivering a controlled dose of vitamins, supplements, medications through your clothing. And that's able to last for 25 plus wash cycles. So we believe fundamentally that clothing is the most intimate human interface. We all wear clothing every single day, and it contacts our skin every single day. And so why can't you use that as a foundation for more simply delivering active ingredients or medications to the body? And I'll give you an example from my personal life. My grandpa unfortunately suffered from Alzheimer's for a number of years, where he could never remember to take his medications every day. But interestingly, he still put on a sock every single morning. And it's so ingrained that we all get dressed. And so one of the biggest things with starting a business is really hard to change consumer behavior. But fortunately, we all get dressed every single morning. And so we felt like that was the right platform for what we call healthware, delivering ingredients through clothing.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, and I think it's amazing how I think from an entrepreneurial standpoint of identifying a problem, and some people go the route of like trying to create this new product that people have to force a habit change to be able to use it, but it's like they can get the solution to the problem by doing something that they're already doing. I think that's an amazing combination. So what are the types of clothing garments that, that people can expect from Nurfabrx?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and it's patient compliance, right? One of the biggest challenges in the medical industry, and this is one of the things that came out of our clinical study, is that doctor recommends pain relief cream to a patient, and then 3 weeks later they come back and they say, "Doctor, my foot still hurts." And their first question is, "Well, did you use the cream 3 times a day like I recommended?" And oftentimes the answer is no. Sorry, my kids had soccer practice. I got busy. And so I think those are great examples of why you want to just inherently integrate into everyday routine and into your clothing. And so what that means for us is we started with a line of pain relief infused products. So imagine a topical analgesic like BioFreeze or Icy Hot, but built into a sock, a knee sleeve, an arm sleeve. So we have a line of products we launched this year nationwide at Walmart. So it's actually sold in the pharmacy section. And within 2 minutes, the buyer at Walmart goes, "I get it." There's this huge correlation between people buying pain creams and braces. Why not put the two together? It's simpler, it's more cost effective, and you're actually getting better performance because you're getting that controlled dose all day as you're wearing the garment. So it might be pain relief. It might be melatonin in a pillowcase to help you fall asleep faster. It might be an anti-cellulite cream in yoga pants. So a sort of very wide variety of ultimate end garments and applications. The technology is actually partially funded by Department of Defense. So I think soldiers are a good example, and our men in uniform, men and women. You think about a soldier who's walking 40 or 50 miles a day with a heavy backpack on. Certainly don't want to carry extra weight and extra medicine, and certainly not going to stop in the middle of a battlefield and rub a cream on their foot, right? So if you can build in a pain relief cream into a sock or a uniform, or a stimulant to keep soldiers awake, there's quite a lot of interest there from the military side as well.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. My father is a retired Army, and he was a medic in the Army. And I just remember, growing up, hearing the stories about, and he also used to be a paratrooper. So it's like,
Awesome.
the wear and tear that your body goes through. Yeah. And like you said, you're not going to, in the middle of a firefight, stop and rub some cream on your foot or whatever. You're just going to keep pushing through it, because your life and the life of other people are on the line. So I think that is a great approach. So where can people go to find the product if they're interested in buying the product?
So our pain relief products are available nationwide in the pharmacy section at Walmart. So any local Walmart store. And then you can also find our new products at just newfabrx.com, direct to consumer on our website.
Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, one question that I always like to ask every guest that comes on to the show is, when you think about your journey, you think about, how your business has developed from idea to being a business. And, when you think about lessons that you've learned, what are two lessons that come to mind that you would share with other entrepreneurs?
Yeah, where to start? So many lessons, so many mistakes made, so many learnings and evolutions. I think the biggest one for me is just making sure that you find something that you're passionate about and that you really like doing, because it is a grind and a roller coaster ride of ups and downs. And you can't get too caught up in the wins. And likewise, you can't get too caught up in the losses, because you have to make sure you're on to the next thing. And so making sure you find something that you really like doing and like building, I think will allow you to continue to do that, right? There has to be in my opinion, a personal connection or experience tied to it, which makes it feel like work, right? So even if we have an unfortunate turn of events, we didn't make it into this retail outlet, I'm still passionate about this idea and I'm still going to work forward because it's something that I personally believe in and it's meaningful to me. And so I think it's really important to find something like that. Otherwise, you risk getting burned out or sort of getting too influenced by some of these highs and lows of the roller coaster. So I think that's one of the key ones for me. And then I think the next one is just surround yourself by really smart people. I'm not an expert in drug delivery. I'm not an expert in textiles. My degree's in political science and human rights. So totally unrelated. But if you can find something you're passionate about and then find really smart people behind you, I think that's what is a good recipe for success. We've got some PhD, MIT drug delivery scientists mixed with textile veterans that have been in the industry for 40 years. And every day, I feel very fortunate to be able to work and engage with those people and learn and grow as a leader, because that's ultimately what's going to make this company successful and allow us to continue to grow.
Awesome. Well, Jordan, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And, it's always a pleasure to hear, that story, the Genesis story, and just to hear about, the real ups and downs of a business, and to hear the advice of all the entrepreneurs that come on the show. So we'll definitely include a link so people can check out and stay in touch to know what Newfabrx is up to. And thank you again for coming on the show.
Thanks, Joe, for having me. And if anyone wants to connect on LinkedIn or has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those.
Thank you for tuning in to the Business Talk Library. If you like our content, be sure to follow us on social media. And if you want to see more of our exclusive content, you can subscribe and become a member on patreon.com/Business Talk Library. Hey, the Business Talk Library is the place where business makes sense.